My name is Paul Kemp and I'm the Managing Director of Brighton Pride. I actually moved to Brighton when I was about 17 and used to run a nightclub called Wild Fruit, which is a big monthly party with lots of production dancers. So I've always been involved with the music industry. I started doing the dance centre at Brighton Pride in 1992, and it's a very small affair on Brighton level. And then ran the bars and was involved as a main fundraiser for Brighton Pride. So I've been involved with the events for many years. It wasn't until 2013 I took over as Managing Director of the event. When I took over as Managing Director and we set up the CIC organisation, which is a non-profit organisation, one of the people who's involved in the setting up of that was James Ledward, who was used to run the local magazine here, unfortunately passed last year. Had a very big influence in the setting up of the organisation. And we're asset locked to the Rainbow Fund, which is a local charity that grants to local LGBTQ organisations. So part of the actual setting up of the organisation is that we raise money for that organisation. And over the years, it's been very successful, and each year we've increased the amount of money we've donated to the Rainbow Fund. And so over the last 6 years, we've raised £920,000. Oh wow! Yeah, I mean, once we'd realised we weren't going to actually be delivering the actual festival itself, there was two objectives: one, to actually raise some money for the Rainbow Fund, but also actually probably to occupy the creative minds, and have a project to focus on. So we actually converted our office in Brighton, where we normally have our production for Pride, into a TV studio. Work with partners who normally would deliver our stage screens and other technicians from the park, and produce We Are Fabuloso, which was over 12 hours of content, which we're really, really proud of, and it's very successful working with YouTube. And it's something we're probably looking at doing even into 2021 when we're delivering the event, hoping to have more online content produced before the event and put out after the event as well. Well, probably the highlights actually wasn't just the actual weekend, it was the actual, building of the studio and actually seeing how the technical side came together and the achievements of the team involved with that, and, seeing the results of the, we felt it was a really good, outcome production-wise. I guess from the weekend, it's actually looking back at some of the amazing acts we've had at Brighton and Hove Pride and some of the epic, footage we've had from this, from Preston Park where we hold the Pride Festival. So I think it's a mixture of both really, but some of the highlights from the weekend, I guess, was Years and Years and Jess Glynn and some of the activists as well who actually came in and spoke to us in the studio. I think music's always been a part of the Pride celebration. I mean, Pride is about campaigning and activism and protest. But even back to the early days of Brighton Pride and in fact London Pride, music has been a big part of it, whether it's through DJs or from acts, performing. I know on Brockwell Park years ago they had Pet Shop Boys, and I think Carly did a very small show there. And certainly in Brighton, the diversity of acts we've had here is not just the main stage acts, it's all the other areas and small stages we're developing across our sites. So it's about having platforms for, some of the smaller acts as well. But of course, having some of the big acts, it's tricky sometimes getting them to come and perform because we haven't got the budget the same as a lot of the big festivals. But I think it's a lot to do with the fact we can now deliver a big stage production with the size of stage we have and the technical production, which allows us to put on such big artists such as Kylie and Brittany, and there are, you know, it's a big you know, part of Pride. It obviously helps drive ticket sales, but it's quite limited in the sense of there's not necessarily going to be the acts that would suit an LGBT audience. So we're also developing the other stages across the site. Oh, that's a difficult one as well. I mean, I mentioned Years and Years. You know, I think when Brittany forgot where she was, that was quite amusing. But I've got to say, on a personal level, Grace Jones. You know, Grace Jones, we had her in 2019. You know, and you know, Grace can get away with murder, and you know, and she lived up to her reputation. You know, I'm a big Grace fan, so yeah, Grace Jones. I have a good idea, but you know, we're still in COVID, and we wouldn't be announcing our acts until next February. So I'm keeping it close to my chest, you know, and hopefully we'll be making our announcements then. Oh wow! You know, I mean, there's so many acts that would be, you know, LGBTQ icons. You know, that would, you know, I'd love to have. One that comes to the top of my list actually, and we were always wanting to book him, was George Michael. You know, and you know, still listen to George Michael tracks. You know, he's really missed by the community. So that I guess George would be at the top of my list.